Yeah, I can't believe it. These Bama's made the freaking NFC Championship game.
Started from
Ah,
the bottom, now we're here.
man, like this is really crazy, man. But it's me, Mike, and I'm here with my guy.
Commander P, NFC Championship Edition. What up?
Like, just it's so surreal. Even though the game happened a couple of days ago, it's so surreal. And you're listening to Sport on Convos with Eddie and Mike, man. And this is the NFC AFC Championship edition of the show. And the reason we can call it that is because Washington is participating. This is so crazy. Like, I keep saying it's crazy and saying it's unbelievable because it really is. Like, nobody expected this. Maybe they did, but they're literally the only people that expected this because I did not. And now they find themselves 60 minutes away from the Super Bowl. Ridiculous. How you feeling, bro?
It's a different kind of because this is real, and what we did, the way we came in there, and it started off really well, then it didn't go so well. They started kind of pushing us around, kind of running all over us, which I was worried about. But then in some other ways, we really shut it down. Our DBs as a whole, when you look at Sandra Ward, look at Lattimore, like they really didn't have the ball thrown their way that often. And in Sandra and uh, did I say Ward? What's my Quan? What what I'm talking about?
Martin?
Martin. I don't know why I was saying Ward. I'm tripping. Anyway, Martin got the pick six. Sammer still had the other two interceptions. They graded out really high in terms of coverage. Again, ball's not thrown your way that often, so that would suggest the coverage was good. Excuse me, but I think we also were getting some pressure here and there. Um, but it's just the fact that we matched them tit for tat, especially in that second quarter where things just kind of blew wide open basically. And I think a combo of the whole playing with house money, we're not supposed to be here, nobody believes in us against the world, all of that. And then you got someone like Jaden Daniels who has a very calm poise about him, and then people kind of flock to that, and to know that like we've had these kind of games all year where if it gets close, so we just keep the faith, keep plugging away. Anyway, what I'm getting at is we just went in there and did the damn thing, and that in itself was just kind of like you said, like surreal, just crazy to watch. Like I can't remember the last time in a like super meaningful game like this one where we're winning and kind of just like waiting around for the game to end. You know what I mean? Like towards the end there, maybe like the last three, maybe a little more than 3 minutes, like the game was pretty much over. We were up big. They weren't able to do anything. And then Ching gets the interception, and it's just like that just happened. And then the thing of it is too, it's not just a fluke. That's where it gets even crazier. And you're just like, I would have never believed this if me right now went to me this time last year and started explaining all this. And not just that it's happening, but the way it's happening. Jaden Daniels is getting better and better. And like I said, like to know that this isn't a flash in the pan. This is like, fingers crossed, barring like unforeseen events, this is a fruition of like tales of things to come. You know what I mean? Like this is huge. And I mean, it wasn't just him, it was a lot of our guys. I mentioned the defense, Terry, I'd say Zach Ertz to a degree, uh Deami Brown. Hey, how about Deami Brown, Mr. Amra, Amin Ra, St. Brown, ARSB? How about that? He was talking all that stuff like that man had any sort of like pull over where he was going to get drafted. Man had like 6 catches for 98 yards. And it look, it's just me. I'm sound like a hater. My man Amon was getting a lot of his catches like towards the end of the game when we were playing back, trying to. Anyway,
Nah,
Yeah,
nah, that's not true, bro. He was definitely getting busy throughout the entire game, bro. Like, don't like the Lions were doing their thing. It's just that
they were doing their thing
they
running
they
mostly.
made mistakes, and I go back to what Wagner was saying. Um, on his mic'd up and during the interviews or whatever, he always says that to stay locked in, that to treat it like a regular game, that you start treating it like a postseason game or whatever, you're gonna start pressing, messing stuff up. And I feel like that's exactly what happened to the Lions, man. Like, why are you giving Williams the
Yeah,
ball to
play.
throw?
Yeah,
Like, I hate when coaches get cute. We always say that. Like, why are you get so cute?
trying
Why
too
you get so
hard.
cute? Like, that's the perfect example of getting too cute. Like, run your trick plays, bro. Run your trick plays, man. But that was an absolute no, man. Or if you want to run it, tell the idiot not to throw the ball if he can't. If he's like, if somebody's there, don't throw the ball because you're not a freaking quarterback, you idiot.
Yeah.
But I
That's
digress. I
definitely the
digress.
ill-advised 3. Nah, I don't look, man, maybe I was watching the game different, but from the way I saw it, like, they were running all over us for sure. But I didn't see my man like getting those big catches until like a lot of his catches and yards towards the end of the game. I'm not saying he didn't have any. I'm just saying most of his totality, like his all his catches and yards, was closer to the end of the game. I'm not saying he didn't have none during the game. I'm saying they were running the ball with Gibbs. They had that play to Laporta, the back of the end zone. But I thought our defense stepped up. And, like I said, a lot of guys were having some of the I think the best games maybe of their career, of the season at the very least. And the way they all did it, and it was like everybody was contributing. I'd say maybe one or two guys like Zacchaeus or Luke McCaffrey, you didn't really see much do much, but I mean everybody else. This was one of those everybody eats. And it was amazing to watch. And I'll tell you what was great is the continual, it's not just, oh, he's a great player, he's poised, like I said. I see this man, Jaden Daniels, just getting better and better. And I'll give you two specific plays. One of them just kind of a whatever, gain about 6 or 7 yards, but it was later in the game. The other is the Terry touchdown. So the first one I'm going to mention, I'm going to go backwards because this one happened second. Um, Detroit starts to bring down, I think it was Branch or one of the other safeties. They bring him down. Jaden notices it, like leans forward, changes the play, brings Brian Robinson from being on his right side to his left side, runs a read option, but sort of holds it for just a little bit. And the DBs kind of come crashing from Jaden's left and B Rob's left. They run to the right. And because the way the DBs crashed down, and Jaden held them for just a little longer and then let it go, B Rob was able to get to the outside, get maybe like a solid 6 or 7 yards. And it was meaningful because if I'm not mistaken, that got it to second or third and short. And we were moving back down in their territory again, just running clock, just dominating, grinding it out. But the other one is the Terry one. Same thing. You see the safeties coming, and it was plain as day. They didn't hide it. Dude, I don't know if it was Joseph on this one. It might have been Branch again, but he was kind of in that no man's land where it looked where he was too far away to be lined up, but then kind of a little further away than you'd want to blitz. But that's how he started. Like when they broke, that's the spot he went to. And DBs our receivers on both ends are all pointing at him. Like they figured it out. Jaden's looking at it, boom, quick strike to Terry, gone. And it's that kind of stuff, not just to recognize it, make the right play call, but then to stand in there, that kind of game, that kind of environment. And he's done it time after time. And Mike, I know I've just been blabbering on and on and on, but it's all of that is just like, I almost didn't have a reaction. Like, yeah, I celebrated and we won, but it's just like, this is really happening, man. Like, this is amazing.
Yeah, because it's been a long time coming. Like, think about it.
A
All the
long
stuff,
time.
all the stuff that we talked about that Washington hasn't done since '91 is being solved or being done. 11-win season done. Um, Playoff win done. Championship game done. I don't really have much to say about the Lions game, but it was just they're hungry. They want it, man. They want it. And like I said before the postseason started, I said two things needed to happen. Or at least I said if Washington won the Super Bowl, or if they didn't win the Super Bowl, it would be because, and I said if they won it, it'll be because Jay Daniels basically became Superman or Super Saiyan, whatever
Yeah.
age bracket you're in.
He
Astro Boy, if you're
kind of
a
heading that
boomer.
direction.
Um, and I said the reason they won't win the Super Bowl is because of the defense. But play for play, bro, the defense is surviving.
I mean, to me, I know they gave up a lot of points,
Hmm.
but that might have been the best game the defense played. And look, I'm not just talking
When
the
you get 5 turnovers,
I mean, the turnovers, you got one return for a touchdown, but I want you, and I've mentioned this all year long, and you see what happens. You know, you get Dorrance Armstrong with the sack strip. Bobby Wagner was right there. I mean, it was bang bang. Like nobody else had a chance. And if you look, they really didn't try because it was like he was there and he was on it, and he got to like sort of a covering position to where like nothing they could do because he was there because guys are swarming to the ball. Guys are getting after it. And I've actually heard that, and I don't know that it's everybody, but I'd say a large amount that there's a lot of faith, a lot of Christians, and they've kind of really rallied around their faith together, and that's kind of been a driving force as well. I mean, obviously, you got guys who are hungry to win, some older guys who maybe seizing an opportunity to get a ring, along with some young guys who are hungry to get a ring and a new contract for a lot of money, and among other things. So it's really cool to see these guys all rally together. But I'll admit, man, you said it, and it wasn't that I thought they couldn't do it. I just, man, to keep up with Detroit, I was wrong. I said I thought we should keep it close, grind them out. And we did that with our possessions, but man, seeing Jaden Daniels, the quick hike, I already mentioned the Terry, the one on the left side to De'Ami Brown, then the other dime to De'Ami Brown, where dude's got his hands covering his face, and De'Ami Brown's just stepping up like big. This is what we kind of thought would happen maybe like 2 years ago. It's finally starting to happen, and I'm glad we've been patient and kept him because that's a reflection of what I've said is that maybe sometimes we're a little too quick to say so and so is not working out. You know, change the scenery. He's always been a deep threat, but this year he's been used a lot more, making a lot more plays, a lot more opportunities. But man, we kept scoring those points. And I think some of that had to do with it. Obviously, they're hurting on defense, but it was the timing of those plays because every time they made a play, boom, we responded. And it almost seemed like our responses matched their, they'd make a big play, we made a big play. But then there was a couple times where I feel like our plays were bigger, not just because we're the road team, but it was like they drew up a nice play and we just kind of, it was like they swung really hard to punch us and we just kind of swerved. You know what I mean? You ever like really try to punch someone and you miss and it's like, and you throw everything into it? You know what I mean? Like,
I was like, if this man say bend that corner or something, man, I was gonna smack you, bro.
no.
He said something about swerving.
Oh, no, 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 I'm not trying to do the song. That's funny that that happened because there are people, like I was telling you earlier, that they say because that dude performed at halftime is why they lost, which I think is stupid. But and also too, I don't get you could have had obviously Eminem. I think that dude Big Sean or Royce the 5'9". There's a lot of like artists from Detroit you could have had perform instead of the big baller brand rapper. Um, but yeah, hey, we went in there and we won. I think again the some of those key road wins where the games were tight, I think they're paying dividends for us. I think there's a certain comfort. I mentioned Jaden Daniels' growth, and then everybody's belief in him enables them to sort of say, you know what, if I really give it my all, this guy can already pull rabbits out of hats left and right. Who knows what he could do if I really, I block just a little harder, or I run my route knowing I might not get the ball, but it'll keep the defense honest. All of those sort of little things, I see them coming together because that's what happens when teams are at this point. If you're that good and you've been playing this together this long now, but then it's just that effort and that belief. And Mike, this is like I'm not trying to get ahead of myself because who knows, but this is the stuff we've been waiting for, man. The you got your double digit win season, like you said. I am so confident in the players we have and the players that we will acquire based on what's happened. Now, I gotta throw this out there, even though it's early and we shouldn't be talking off season, whatever. What we did this year with the moves that we made that were home runs, I would taper the expectations going into next year just a little bit because we kind of really hit on damn near every one of them. And not that I don't have faith in our front office, but the likelihood of that happening again, and I fully believe they're going to like dot every I, cross every T, turn over every rock, check the couch cushions, whatever they can look that needs to be looked to make the right decisions. I believe that'll happen. But I mean, it'd be great. But anyway, yeah, we're we're into on to playing the Eagles for the third time NFC Championship game. Um, it's definitely going to be rough because that's just a rough place to play. It's that time of year where the weather is pretty damn cold. They have a good O line and a good running game. Their quarterback can run, and they have some other good weapons. Some really AJ Brown is a freakish athlete. Crazy having him and DK Metcalf on the same college team. You know what I mean? Weight room sessions were
Yeah.
probably insane.
So let's just dive into the matchups. First, we could talk about the Eagles defense versus the Commanders offense. And man, the engine of that defense, we all know, is Jalen Carter. Like he's become like Justin Simmons and what's my man from the Chiefs? Chris Jones.
Chris
Yeah,
Jones,
Chris
yep,
Jones.
that's a
Um, or back in the day for the older folks, Warren Sapp, or if you're younger, Aaron Donald. He's becoming that person. He's going to
yeah.
be a nuisance on Sunday. You saw him wreak havoc against the Rams on Sunday. In the snow, before it snowed, it didn't matter. Double team, it didn't matter. He was cooking on Sunday, man. That's that's the first person you need to key in on, man. You got to find a way to limit him. And I think one thing we can do, or they can do, I'm not calling plays or playing. I'm just cheering. Uh, they can do what they do best. No huddle. Tired of Bam out. Make them run. I ain't played D tackle before, but I'm a big dude, man. You get us on the run, we might can hang on for a little bit, but gravity is gravity. It's a lot to move.
Well, I think part of what makes him such a problem is he does have pretty good speed. I believe he ran a pretty solid 40 for someone of his
Right.
size.
When I say
I hear you. You don't just mean
use
the
the
one
no
time.
tempo and no huddle, is to literally um not have them at that speed. Try to knock them down a couple of notches, which is it happened. Like even in the Rams game, he had to come out a few plays. And when he's out, I feel like that's the time to strike.
Yeah, I agree. I think we can pull it off, not just receivers, but you also just doing like traditional screens. I'd like to see that. Obviously, some of the misdirection and Jaden just kind of using his escapability and speed is going to be something we probably rely on pretty heavy. But I think we got to do the exact same thing I was saying about going into the Detroit matchup. I want to see, and we kind of did this to a degree in the Detroit, we actually did it. Shout out to the coaching staff. They're clearly listening to us. Is heavily rotating the running backs. I want to see us like, it's not going to be a perfect strategy or anything. And who knows, if somebody does get a hot hand, you kind of do want to ride that. But just basically having as fresh a body as possible almost every other snap because it's you don't want to just rotate a guy out every play, maybe every 2 plays, every 3 plays, something. I don't know, depending on how people's rhythm and things like that work, flow of the game. But definitely rotating in fresh bodies as far as the running game and kind of really, you know, pounding that because I believe the weather is going to be a factor. I'm not sure. I mean, I know it'll be cold, but I don't know if there's supposed to be any snow
No.
or precipitation.
So it's funny. I actually know the weather, and it's because slight detour from the matchups. Bill Simmons
Yeah, I
been
saw
running
you
his
post.
mouth talking about some Jaden Daniels needs to prove that he can win in the cold games, and he'll do that Sunday by beating Philadelphia. The temperature is going to be 40 Sunday around 3 o'clock in Philadelphia. When he beat Washington in Washington in December, it was 36 degrees. It was colder.
When he beat Philly in Washington.
Yeah, that's what I said. Or did
You
I
said
say beat Washington in Washington?
yes.
Mm. That's that ADHD.
We know what you meant.
But anyway, yeah. So I don't get it, but weather shouldn't be a factor. It might be a little bit windy, but that's about it. It's not, at least right now. Like weather is weather. Anything can happen.
I'm just thinking
But
if we want to pound the rock a little more and rely on the running game. But yeah, another thing too that I think this is something that Jaden's getting better at, but I'd like to see more of because we also did this in the Tampa game. Um, is just some whether it's under center or from shotgun, like just quick strike. You know what I mean? I'm not saying just blindly throw the ball, but getting the ball out real quick. We did that a couple of times, both in the Tampa game and in the Detroit game, and it had a lot of success. I understand you can't go to the wishing well too, like way too often, but I think we do a little more of that. That also combats someone like what's my man's name, Jalen Carter, and then they also got a dude before him who was kind of wreaking havoc, and them together, Davis, I think. I don't know if he's still with the team, but they had those two. Then you got Fletcher Cox. Um,
yeah, Jordan Davis, he was drafted the year before.
from
Them
Georgia as
Georgia
well.
boys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and he's I think he's just a little bit like he was good, and then and Carter comes in who's way better, but like that's
right.
not saying what I mean. What's his face is still really good.
Like low key, they're doing what we hope Allen and Payne could do, but never seem to be able to do.
Well,
Like they're doing that.
I think we're working towards that. I think we're building towards that being something
Oh,
that can happen. But
it's going to be a long off season for. Nevertheless, um, their edge rushers, I don't think they're as scary as you like Milton Williams and Nolan Smith. I'm not even like familiar with them, and we played them a couple of times. And I'm not saying that they're not dangerous or anything. I just feel like they're a lot. They're dependent on. Oh, and Josh Sweat. I do know about Josh Sweat. They're dependent on what the interior rushers can do. I feel like they need that help from them, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's just football, 1-on-1. You generate the pressure inside so the quarterback can step up so the edge rushers can have a free shot at the quarterback. But still, it's not like we're facing TJ Watt or anything. Can they cause problems for us? Of course. Will they? I don't know. I'm not like if you're asking me who am I concerned more about, it's definitely the interior rushers. If you can find a way to neutralize them, it increases your chances of success offensively.
Yeah, I think certainly, like I said, the quick strike I think would combat those guys as well. I think having I know we do like to, kind of bounce outside with some of our plays, whether it's those sort of long handoff throw like, well, it is a throw, plays that we do out of the backfield or just running to the outside. But I think along with the quick strike, similar with running, just get upfield right away. I think that'll help and go a long way. And I think what we could do is sort of, kind of create little wrinkles and, piggyback off how we start. If we get everybody bunched up on the inside, then we can start to bounce some of those plays back to the outside because now, we've gotten them used to, you know, going north and south so much, they start to tend to, drift to the inside. Then we can bounce one to the outside, utilize a lot of the different talent and speed we have. So, I mean, it's, certainly easier said than done. Um, and I think Cosme, I don't know, did it ever come out what happened? Did he tear something or he broke something? I don't think they gave any news.
Um, it was a ligament. He's out,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah,
Can't
for sure.
remember what it was
I didn't
exactly,
know
but
if it was, like, said specifically what he did. I thought that update hadn't come out yet, but, yeah, anywho, it's definitely gonna be a tougher test, but I thought Trent Scott stepped in there, and then I think they slid some guys around, but I thought they played pretty well, under the circumstance with Cosme out. Definitely you know, a rough hit to the O-line, but that whole next man up thing. And with Daniels, you never know. And I think it put a little bit more pressure on Cliff. We got to come up with some plays to kind of. I mean, you can't hide someone on the football field necessarily or anything, but come up with ways to sort of assist or remedy the fact that you're playing with like a patchwork O line. But not to like bounce back, but for everybody in Detroit, man, we feel for you, but that whole thing with all the injuries, the amount of years that Washington went through that, and they were still bad anyway, but the amount of years we went through that, and it wasn't an excuse, next man up, same thing. And I'm not going to be mad if, if we play bad, I'll be mad, but I'll understand like if it's because the O-line didn't perform well, it's because, hey, we're banged up there and we weren't, that wasn't a strong suit necessarily to begin with. So, but I'll understand. So yeah, it's going to be a tough test.
yeah. And as far as Washington's offensive line, it's funny they have a couple of routes they can go to replace Cosme. They could either replace him with Trent Scott again, or they could put Wiley in guard and move Trent Scott to right tackle, or Cornelius Lucas could play right tackle, and you move Wiley inside. They have a lot of options that they can use, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens. And they like to rotate offensive linemen, so they could do that too. Maybe go back to rotating Brandon Coleman and Lucas at tackle and move move. I don't know. They have options. Like I'm not. I'm so glad I don't have to coach in this game because it's going to be intense. And one of the intense battles is definitely going to be on the outside, man. Them Eagles corners, man. They're young, but they do have a savvy vet in Slade, who I think had a great game on Sunday.
He's a good player. He's been
Almost
around for a while
intercepted
too.
Stafford earlier in the game. McLaurin does have his number. I can't deny that. Since he's been in the league, since Slade was on the Lions, McLaurin been getting at him. But Slade definitely has shown Terry his respect. So That's going to be a fun matchup to watch. The emergence of Diami Brown in the playoffs. We're talking 270 plus back to back games.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah,
like
big
he's
time.
becoming the receiver too that we've needed for years for McLaurin. Um, and it's nice to see it happening in the postseason. And I think his pockets are happy to see it happening in the postseason too. Because rather it be here or another city, he's definitely made more money in the postseason than he probably did in his career before the postseason, and that's crazy. That's the NFL for you. But we always felt like he had the talent. Um, you know who's been kind of quiet though in the postseason and could be a key again versus Philly? That man Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus, like y'all like to call him, but I got to call
Oz,
him Zacchaeus. Huh?
O to the Z,
O to
Alameda,
the Z.
yes,
Yeah.
Oz.
Um, Ozzy. Yeah, he's been kind of quiet. I don't. What he had, one or two catches on Saturday versus the Lions,
I'm
but
not sure if he had any, to be honest. I don't remember him doing him and McCaffrey. I don't think did much at all. But I'll
I
try
was
it.
trying to like honestly, I was just trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. I didn't think he had any either,
Well,
but
I'm not trying to talk trash. Just sometimes that's
nah, nah, um,
he
but
had targets. He did not make a catch.
yeah, so no catches for the Bama. Um, but yeah, what Brown, McLaurin, and Ertz, that's a nice trio of receivers for Daniel to use in this game on Sunday. And I think he's going to have success, man. I know the offensive line is banged up. I know the Eagles secondary is good, if not great for this time of the year. But wrong finger. We have him, man. We have him. And
Yep.
it just seems like it didn't take long for him to put himself in the echelon of elite quarterbacks. And I get it. It's only been 1 year. They're going to get more tape on them next season. But I'm like,
He's going to
tape
get
on
better.
what? That part. But still, tape on what? What tape on what? Are you going to take away him scrambling? Great. You took away him scrambling. He's a pocket passer.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to play coverage? You want to drop everybody back? You want to play man? He can scramble on you too. So what tape are you going to use? It's going to basically you're going to have to guess what he's going to do on a given play in order to stop him. And luckily for everybody, it's a 50% chance that he's going to either scramble or throw the ball or whatever. So you have time to get pressure on him. But the man's so good at evading the pressure, it's like, what can you do? So I just feel like if the offensive line can hold up just a little bit, and
Yeah.
if the running game could be just a little bit effective on Sunday, Washington they can score some points on this Eagles defense again, with
Oh,
or without the turnovers.
well, they've shown that, and I think that'll play a little bit to Washington's advantage because just the same as what I said with Detroit. Obviously, Philly has been pretty good the last several years. They went to the Super Bowl recently, but there's still that same kind of pressure. They're at home. We're the hot new team coming in. We've been, playing well. 2 road wins. Jaden Daniels is again something very special and very different. And Philly sort of has in their DNA to kind of be haters, you know, and I get it. They beat us. They're the NFC champs or the NFC East champs. I get that. Talented team, got a lot of good pieces in a lot of positions, but the pressure's on them. They're the ones who are supposed to beat up on us. We weren't even supposed to be here this far, and I honestly I think we got a real good chance. I think them seeing what we could do against Detroit, who, again, I know Detroit kind of pushed us around early on, but we started to tighten up the same way we tightened up in the second half against Philly when we beat them. And then the fact that we showed that we can keep up with them. And I'm pretty sure you know what I mean? Like 30 points, I get it. That's still a lot of points, but they were usually hanging like 40 or 50 on Cats. And we had several turnovers. And I think Jalen Hurts he's due for a few turnovers. I think we get at him right. I think he's due for a turnover or two. I think, you think Slay will be matched up on Terry, and maybe you're right. But I think Terry might want some get back at that Quentin, whatever the young DB is. Terry didn't have any catches against him. I think probably the first time around. Second time around, I think was a little different story. But Terry, now it's the playoffs. Terry might want a little more get back. Like, might want to show, hey, I'm on one right now. I think we definitely got the momentum. I think there's sort of that why not us thing going on. I'd like to see us, get back to using Eckler a little more. I thought he really played well. And I'm not saying it has to be any specific one of them, but we did get the ball to Bates. He got a 20-yard catch. That was pretty nice. I'd like to see us go to some big formation, get all three tight ends out there. You can maybe have Eckler and B-Rob on the field. I don't know how you want to flip it around. And maybe do like a little quick action, play action type stuff. And you get one of these tight ends open, like a Bates or a Sinnott, or it could even be Ertz, who we go to regularly. But get one of them open based on the element of surprise, because it looks like, we're about to try to, do a little smash mouth, a little run, and then you throw to Sinnott, who hasn't really been used that much, Bates, who's outside of that catch I mentioned. I can't remember last catch he had. So I think some of that might be necessary as well. We might have to go to that bag of tricks.
Yeah, not just that's the good thing, man, is that they may not have the best weapons, the most potent weapons, but they're getting the best out of the weapons that they do have. And that's good. And yeah, they already put 33 points on Philly once. In the first game, I feel like they could have scored
Yeah.
more than the 18 points that they scored. They just couldn't seem to punch it in the red zone. Um, so what's that? 18 plus 33, that's 51. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're talking 25 and a half points per game.
I bet.
That's the question though. Switching sides of the ball. Do you think the defense can hold them to 25 points
I,
or less than 26 points? I should say.
I think it's certainly possible. And I think you'll agree with me in the sense that you have made it well known how you feel about Jalen Hurts as a passer. I'm not in total disagreement with you. I think he's much improved, but I still think that you're not wrong. Let's just get that part out of the way. All I'm saying is I think I don't know. I'm not trying to sympathize for an Eagles player over here, so whatever. But I think some of that's going to come into play. My worry is AJ Brown hasn't really had a great playoffs yet, and I think he torched Latimer that one game that Latimer played. We did win the game, but I think he got him for a touchdown.
Man, see, this is
So,
y'all be blowing me when it comes to Lattimore, like straight up. Like
but
y'all be treating this man like he's supposed to be Revis or something. Like, yes, Brown did get at him, but he actually got at Brown too before he left the game with his injury, bro. Like, and just like with Evans,
listen, I'm not
they
indicting the
they
man or
were
saying
calling in the same game. The same thing happened to Evans and Brown. They called him on a pass interference that was very, very controversial to the fact that even our TV referees were like, I don't know if I would have called that. And if they called a game down the middle, the matchup would be closer than what y'all keep saying it was. But whatever. I don't know. Y'all
I,
just blowing me up.
Mike, I bring it up to say that there's a chance lightning might strike twice. I don't want it to. I'm hoping because, like I said, but listen, I was saying with Hertz's inability to pass, there's the chance that we get some interceptions like we did last week. All right. My only concern is whenever someone hasn't been having a good game and that whole they're due thing, like I kind of really believe in that. Now, on the flip side of that argument, I tend to believe whichever team lost, if they play them again, they have more motivation. You could argue the Eagles have that because they're playing us, but this is the playoffs; it's different. I think just the the magic carpet we've been riding. Not to say we've been getting lucky or aren't responsible for the success we're having, because I fully believe that is the magic. Is these guys all just going out there and playing hard nosed football for from beginning to end. That's the magic. So let's get that clear. I'm not at all saying like we're getting lucky and this and that. I mean, you need a little luck here and there, but by and large part, we created the luck by playing the way we played and playing as hard as we played. So yeah, I think we march in there and we gotta start early, man. We really do because that environment is, I, I mean, a bajillion times tougher than Detroit. I know Detroit. It's the whole like it's been so long, and it really seemed like that team, like that's a really good team, and in some ways that's the reason why I believe we have a good chance to go in there and win is because look what we just did to that really good team. Yeah, they're banged up and they're hurt, and the Eagles might be healthier, and Saquon ran all over us. He ran all over the Rams, running all over everybody. I believe one thing that I think we see, but because there's not enough wow plays, like I mean, there's some, but not enough, and we don't have like a Micah Parsons playing for us. Dan Quinn has continually like made these little adjustments with blitzes, and you're seeing players like I've mentioned, with the like as if they just keep showing up, players are getting better and better. You start like the turnovers we all had, all of a sudden Dorrance Armstrong making plays. I'm not saying he wasn't making plays the whole season, but the way he was playing at the beginning of the season to now, I guarantee you some of it has to do with Quinn, some of it has to do with just him continuing to play hard each snap. But there's adjustments. There's a certain level of just being comfortable, building chemistry with your teammates, and I think all of that's starting to really come out. And I think Dan Quinn's responsible, man. I think he does a lot behind the scenes, whether it's scheme or whether it's just motivation, awareness, pointing things out, keeping guys in line. I think you're going to see Dan Quinn come up with some really good strategies to slow down Saquon and Hurts. And, who knows? Maybe A.J. Brown will be too caught up in the book, and, uh, we'll kind of create some issues there because I don't have much of a problem with the book thing. We talked about this last week, but I think his teammates do. So who knows? Maybe that'll become a thing.
Um, so we know about Brown. We know about Barkley. We know about Hurts. Even though he may not be the best passer in the world, his legs are still dangerous. Speaking of legs, he is banged up. It does seem like it's going to have some effect on him on Sunday. So watch out for that. But the last person on their offense that I have concerns about, we know about Han. We know Jahan Dotson is at least a threat, even though he hasn't produced as much. We know what he can do, and he scored a touchdown in the playoffs already. So,
Yeah, I thought
like,
that was
you
crazy.
got to keep your eye on the Bama. Hopefully, Noah can lock him up because he is their slot receiver, so he'll be matched up with Noah Ikwinagi. Um, go there, Dallas. Go there, man. Definitely, definitely going to have some problems with him on Sunday because I'm not 100% fully convinced that Wagner has fully recovered from that ankle injury. Having said that, I do believe that Laporta didn't really do too much to Washington on Saturday night. Um, 7 targets, 5 catches, 51 yards, and a touchdown. Oh yeah, he had that crazy touchdown.
One-handed. That's what I
Yeah,
was
that one-handed
saying.
drink.
Like, well, that one hand
Um,
very nice.
I mean,
But yeah.
Godair can hurt you on third downs, just like Ertz can hurt other teams on their third downs. Godair can do the same thing for Philly. So we're definitely going to have to watch out for that on Sunday. But this kind of leads to my X factor. So I guess I'll, unless you had something to say, something else to say about the Eagles' offense or Washington's defense.
Well, as far as my concern, I mean, they throw to Goddard, but I'd be a little more concerned with Devontae Smith than I would a Goddard. But I also wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, of course.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if on some because Sirianni's the type of d bag. I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to kind of like do a lot with Jahan Dotson just to sort of like needle us and like
They
poke the
better not, man. That would be ridiculous.
I wouldn't be surprised.
That
Wouldn't
would
be
be
surprised.
ridiculous.
I mean, no, I'm not saying they're just going to like throw the playbook out and only throw the ball to Jahan Dotson. But what I'm saying is, you get going with some guys. Obviously Saquon, AJ Brown, as we mentioned, Goddard, Devontae Smith. Those guys will all garner attention. What I'm saying is, I wouldn't be surprised if they, start getting him the ball. And it's that whole like, oh look, you guys shouldn't have let him go.
Oh, we definitely should have
Oh,
because
I agree.
I think that trade led us to the addition to, the addition to Lattimore. So definitely thankful for
Yep.
that trade.
Yep.
Um, Now my X factor for this championship game is coaching, bro.
Yeah.
Especially in the playoffs, it matters. It really, really matters. And I think Washington has two advantages. They have the advantage at quarterback, and they have the advantage in coaching. And I think that's going to play a huge part in the outcome on Sunday.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. If I got to go X factor, I saw a stat I thought was pretty crazy because I think anybody once I start talking and you see where I'm going, you would totally agree because it like you don't even need to think about it. The amount of times we go for it on fourth down, but the four teams that are left all have a very high fourth down conversion, fourth down completion. We make it on fourth. Like we go for it on fourth. Most of the time, we get the yardage or end up getting a touchdown. Like I think we're at 89%, and everybody else is like in the mid to low 70s. So I think the X factor for us is we have to convert on all those fourth downs. That's going to be our X factor.
That's a great pull, bro.
And
Um,
listen, I have faith in our offense, but the same way I was talking earlier about the draft picks and whatever we do in free agency and not hitting, not batting 1,000 the way we pretty much did this past off season with the moves we made. In that same light, I'm not saying like, hey, Philly's defense is shutting us down and we're going to be in fourth down all the time, but there's a strong possibility we're going to be in some fourth downs. And if we are maybe 5 to 10 yards past the 50, I'm pretty comfortable saying we're going for it. You know what I mean? Like that's just what we've been doing, and
Yeah.
I like it. So what I'll do is like a little like pigtail PS whatever addition to my converting on fourth down. It has Cliff's got to like he's got to bring those right plays, man. He can't put us that. I didn't mind that little option shovel thing we were trying to do against Tampa, but I don't know how to explain it. I can't be like, oh, when it works is the right time to do it because that just sounds completely like like I'm an asshole. But I don't know, man. Like we gotta. There's times where that man is just it's like he's cooking, but then every now and again he'll run a
He
play.
get too cute.
Yeah, every now and again I'm like, what are we doing, man? Like, why are we like just do the thing, you know? So convert those fourth downs. Good play calling from Cliff. That's what it's got to be.
All right, bro. It's come down to this. What's your predicting for Sunday
Prediction
in the
for
NFC Championship game? The Eagles hosting the Commanders, man. This team, y'all, this team is in the NFC Championship game.
Washington 38, Philly 31.
That's it.
I don't know. Just kind of feel like no disrespect to our defense because we played really well and gave up about that same amount of points as I'm predicting with multiple turnovers, turnover for a touchdown. So I'm not mad at it. Not mad at it. We come away with a win and we are headed to the Super Bowl. Why not
Like
us?
it feels crazy to be this close. And I picked Washington the first two games. I picked against them. Um, I didn't believe, but
Yeah.
to quote a famous social media personality, I think I understand now. Jayden Daniels is really good, and usually in the NFL, the team with the better quarterback wins. And I went against him the first two rounds. Can't do it in the championship game with all the marbles on the line. Not
Yeah,
with
I
this
need you to pick
quarterback,
him.
huh?
I need you to pick against him.
Nah, not with this quarterback,
Which
not with this
one?
team.
You got it. You can't do that.
No, I don't believe in that, bro. And you know why? This team, they abolished whatever superstition I had left over, bro. Like, I don't think y'all understand. Those two games early in the season, when they went to Cincinnati on Monday Night Football and went blow for blow with Burrow, only to do 6 days later, they destroyed Arizona. They didn't just beat them, they destroyed the Cardinals.
It's
That
true.
said a lot. And then they just kept winning, kept winning, kept winning. Even in the three straight losses that they had, like you could easily say that they could have won those three games. They were leading in the fourth quarter in all three of them, I believe.
Yep.
The Cowboys game was crazy. Like we talked about that ad nauseum, but that was really a
Well,
crazy game
I feel like almost all, even some of the greatest teams, you have like a little kind of like, like a
a
little hit,
lull or something.
just something where you just like, hey, stars weren't aligned right today, biometric pressure and whatever else, you know what I mean? Zen, feng shui, all those things come into play. They're all
But
there somewhere.
yeah, I am picking the Commanders to actually win the NFC Championship game and give me. I think I said on Commanders to classify 29-37. Is that what I said? No. I had us winning by 8. I think
Okay.
I said, yeah, 29-37. I think I did say that. So, yeah,
Okay.
man. Commanders in the freaking Super Bowl would be nuts. And like I said, they have I think they have the better coaching and the better quarterback. And I think the talent gap between Washington and Philly's rosters is equally the same between the quarterback for Philly and the coaching staff for Philly versus Washington. And I think it matters. I think Washington's on the heater right now. And I could be eating my words like the Lions and Bucks fans this week. But what if I'm not?
Hey man, I mean, what a ride it's been. So why not? Things are really starting to click. Why not? Why not?
All right. So since we'll be if Washington makes the Super Bowl, we'll be talking about one of these two teams for 2 weeks. Um, who do you think will win the AFC Championship game between Buffalo and the Chiefs? And give me your reasons why. However many reasons you want to give me.
I think it's incredibly difficult to bet against Andy Reid, Pat Mahomes, Travis Kelsey. You mentioned Chris Jones. That Kansas City defense has been playing fantastic. But Buffalo's kind of on a similar ride that we're on. They don't really have a lot of big name offensive weapons outside of Josh Allen. James Cook has been having a great year running the ball. They got that home field advantage working for them, right? In the game in Buffalo, or
Huh.
is it
It's
Arrowhead?
in Kansas City.
Excuse me. I don't know why I thought because Buffalo beat Kansas City this year.
Yeah, but the Chiefs still went 15-1. I mean
Yeah,
16. I mean 15-2. I'm sorry.
gotcha. All right. My mistake. My mistake. All right. Well, that definitely makes it all the more tough. But you know what? Because at some point you enjoy watching champions and dynasties, but after a while you're like, all right, Alabama, New England, whoever, tired of seeing you guys win. The Yankees, tired of seeing you guys win. Time for somebody else to get a turn. And we thought we kind of saw something emerging when Joe Burrow and company went in there and they got their win on their way to the Super Bowl. Um, so hey, well, I'm going to pick Buffalo just because it's just too easy to pick Kansas City. I mean, they're so good. Similar to what I was saying with Jaden and the rest of the Commanders, not like Kansas City doesn't already have a pedigree with all the championships, et cetera. But as they continue to win the way they have this year, that's a different kind of experience that they've gained. They already have championship pedigree, but now they don't have Tyreek Hill and all these other weapons like they used to. Now guys are a little more hurt, including got Mahomes, Kelsey, like their superstars are starting to kind of get banged up and are starting to show wear and tear from just year after year have playing full season and going into the playoffs, deep into the playoffs. But the defense is stepping up, so I think why not? They're ripe for the pickings.
For the Pickens.
Yeah, I think the
Um,
main force that works against them too is the NFL wants Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift's going to be at the Super Bowl cheering on Travis Kelsey. It adds to, it's already the Super Bowl. They're going to have Kendrick perform. It's going to be great. Now Taylor Swift's there. So, yeah.
shame, bro. Shame.
Oh,
why you going Tay
I'm
Tay like
rooting
that?
for Buffalo like the rest of America.
No, I'm talking about why you gotta go on Tay Tay like that, dude? What she ever do to you, bro?
I didn't say anything bad. I said she'll be like the driving force, not like her going to Roger Goodell and saying, "Hey, you better make." I'm saying The NFL will look at it like, oh, we've been, showing Taylor Swift on TV nonstop. Why not keep that going? That's what I'm saying. That has nothing to do with her. She is just existing.
Um, yeah, I wish I can disagree with you. I mean, I wish I can agree with you. I'm sorry, but I'm disagreeing with you. Yes, it is easy to go with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes because
Yeah,
they've
I
done
mean,
it the last 2 years. They shouldn't. I feel like they should not have went 15-2 this season, but they did. I feel like they shouldn't win this season, this game on Sunday, but they will. And I just feel like this Commanders Chiefs Super Bowl, it's kind of reaching the collision course. I feel like I really feel like things are starting to unfold that way, and it's up to Philly and or Buffalo to derail this thoughts. But yeah, I can, I can, like I said on the classified, I'm feeling Commanders Chiefs Super Bowl, and that's what
no,
I'm gonna rock with.
that'd be amazing. We go to the Super Bowl and then we can be the ones to unseat Mahomes.
Crazy, crazy, crazy.
That would be crazy. That'd be
But
crazy.
we put it all out there for y'all, man. We both picked the Commanders. Um, we both are going all in, expecting our team to shock the world on Sunday afternoon. Um, that's all I got, man. Enjoy the shows, enjoy the podcast. Like seriously, enjoy those shows and podcasts and those segments because we don't know if we're going to win. It can all end this week,
Yep.
but like I said earlier, what if it doesn't?
Why not us? I mean, I don't think you're going to see a compilation of guys more deserving when you look at guys like a Terry McLaurin, you look at a Bobby Wagner. Yeah, I know he's had success playing for Seattle, playing with Seattle. I don't know if he got a ring with the Rams. Definitely got one with the
I don't think
Seahawks.
so.
He did play for the Rams though for just a
Mm-hmm.
quick moment, but yeah,
Yeah.
okay, no problem, no problem. But either way, I know he's had success, but hey, I'm not saying it's his last year, but I think we're closer to it being that way than not. If he could get another ring and get one with Dan Quinn, guy that he won a ring with when he was in Seattle, you got guys like Biotish, you got guys like Allen and Payne, been here for a while, guys like Jeremy Reeves, guys like Tressway, guys that have been here for a while when we were crappy, when it wasn't just the on the field sucked, the off the field sucked too. Doesn't matter what Bruce Allen tries to tell you. So, how great would that be for those guys? And then for probably the people who paid the biggest price through all this for the last 20 some years, the fans. And I'm talking about the real ones. I'm talking about the ones that, yeah, they might badmouth the team and the organization and complain about every little thing, but it's because they're so beat down from a team they love, seeing the bad decisions, seeing just crappy play on the field, and then having to hear about it from everybody, as though you suited up, the night before. You know what I mean? Like you had something to do with it. Um, and I get it, people just busting balls and stuff. It's just it comes with the territory. Especially in this area, transient, a
You
lot of
were mad.
yeah. Oh yeah. I always was mad. And
I
I'm
was too.
finally not well, but I mean it's nice to not be mad. You know what I mean? You got a commander's hat on. I got a commander's hat. I got my Sean Taylor jersey. The amount of money that I mean, that's just two of us, and there's at the very least uh, tens of thousands of people like us, if not more than that, who are fans and who buy the stuff. We go to the game. You spend money on concessions. You watching the game at home. You buying stuff for your kids, trying to create them into being fans. Um, and it, you do that because you love the team, but it'd be nice if teams started kind of doing something, and here we are. Finally, I feel like at the end of that Key and Peele substitute teacher, thank you. Like when he kind of does, you know what I mean? That's where I'm at. Thank you, thank you.
It's gonna be a movie Sunday. Good luck to Philly.
Approval too.
Huh?
After the game, they were interviewing Gibbs, and he's given that valid stamp of approval, validation. Man, he was there, thumbs up, and who? Yeah, just really glad to see the team. You just typical Gibbs, giggling all along, but just praising Dan Quinn and the effort and the instant turnaround. Love it, love it. Got to win one for Gibby.
Peace out, y'all. I'll let y'all hopefully on the way to the Super Bowl
Yep.
with the Commanders.
Yep. Commander's going to swerve around that corner. Whoa. Ah, 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 ah.
Peace.
Yep. Good morning. Good night. You're welcome.